You were not abandoned when the silence came. You were assigned. Chosen one, your silence is dismantling a trap that words could never reach, and the most dangerous thing you could do right now is break it. The pressure to explain yourself, to defend your position, to prove that you are not cold or distant or indifferent, is not coming from heaven. It is coming from the very mechanism that hoped to keep you stuck in cycles of reaction, exhaustion, and regret. There is a reason your throat feels tight when you think about speaking into certain rooms again. There is a reason your hands pause over the keyboard before sending that message you have drafted 3 times already. There is a reason your chest tightens when someone tries to pull you back into an argument that already stole too many nights from you. This is not weakness. This is protection. This is the quiet work of God in a heart that has finally learned that not every battle is meant to be fought with words. If you have been sensing that this season is different, that something sacred is shifting inside you, even though you cannot name it yet, you are not imagining it. The 7 Principles of C.S. Lewis for the Chosen was written for moments exactly like this, when you feel the weight of a season changing, but you do not yet have the language to describe what is happening. To access the ebook, go now to the top of the comments and click the link in the pinned comment. Your silence is not emptiness. It is the sound of a trap losing its power over you. It is the sound of old patterns collapsing because you refuse to feed them with more words, more explanations, more desperate attempts to be understood by people who were never going to understand you anyway. You wake up and the first thing you notice is the quiet. Not the quiet of an empty house, but the quiet of a heart that has stopped trying to convince everyone that it is okay. You sit on the edge of the bed before sunrise, and you can feel the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your jaw, the shallow breath that has become your normal state for so long that you almost forgot what deep breathing felt like. You pick up your phone and you see the messages, the notifications, the expectations, and for the first time in a long time, you do not answer immediately. You let them sit there. You let them wait. You let yourself exist for a few moments without having to perform peace for anyone. In the kitchen, the coffee cools while you stare out the window, and you realize that you are not running anymore. You are not chasing validation. You are not trying to fix what other people broke. You are just here, breathing, existing, allowing the silence to do what your words never could. This is where the trap begins to fall apart. This is where the old patterns lose their grip. This is where you stop giving your peace away to people who never valued it in the first place. This message is not about teaching you how to be silent for the sake of silence. It is about helping you recognize that your silence has become a sacred space where God is doing work that noise would have interrupted. You are not being punished. You are not being ignored. You are being protected. You are being prepared. You are being formed into someone who no longer needs to prove their worth through constant explanation and defensive speech. The promise here is simple but profound. You will begin to recognize the difference between silence that comes from fear and silence that comes from faith. You will learn to distinguish between withdrawal that is rooted in trauma and withdrawal that is rooted in wisdom. You will discover that there are rooms you were never meant to enter again, conversations you were never meant to finish, arguments you were never meant to win. And you will find peace in that recognition. You will stop interpreting every silence as abandonment. You will stop assuming that your quiet means you are failing. You will begin to understand that sometimes the most faithful thing you can do is nothing at all except breathe and wait and trust. It is Tuesday morning and you are standing in the shower with the water running over your face, and you realize that you are praying without words. There is no list of requests. There is no desperate plea for God to fix everything by the end of the day. There is just you, present, aware, allowing the water to wash over you while your heart whispers something too deep for language. You get dressed and you drive to work. And when someone tries to pull you into gossip or drama or negativity, you feel something shift inside you. You do not engage. You do not justify. You do not explain why you are not participating. You simply exist in your silence, and you watch as the trap that used to catch you every single time begins to lose its power. At lunch, you sit alone for a few minutes, and you notice that the anxiety that used to live in your chest has quieted down. It is not gone completely, but it is no longer driving. You are. And that changes everything. You have noticed this pattern before, have you not? The way certain people seem to thrive on your reaction. The way certain situations only have power over you when you engage with them on their terms. The way your peace disappears the moment you try to defend yourself against accusations that were never meant to be answered anyway. This is not a coincidence. This is a design. And God is showing it to you now because you are ready to see it. You are not being called to silence because you are weak. You are being called to silence because you are strong enough to withstand the pressure to speak when speaking would only feed the fire. Many people who have read the 7 Principles of C.S. Lewis for the Chosen said the material helped them understand their season more clearly, organize their prayers, or stop interpreting every silence as abandonment. To access the ebook, go now to the top of the comments and click the link in the pinned comment. Your silence is not a sign that you are giving up. It is a sign that you are finally trusting God to fight battles you were never meant to fight in the first place. The opposition will come. It always does. It will come in the form of people who do not understand why you are not engaging anymore. It will come in the form of your own mind, telling you that you are being rude, that you are being cold, that you are being prideful. It will come in the form of old habits, whispering that you need to fix this, explain that, clarify the other thing. It will come in the form of notifications, messages, phone calls, all demanding your attention, your energy, your peace. But here is what you need to remember. The trap was designed to keep you busy. It was designed to keep you distracted. It was designed to keep you so focused on defending yourself that you never had time to actually live the life God called you to. Your silence is the wrench in that machine. Your silence is the thing that breaks the cycle. Your silence is the declaration that you are no longer available for negotiation. Think about Joseph for a moment. Not the version of Joseph that you heard about in Sunday school, but the real Joseph, the one who was sold by his brothers, falsely accused, forgotten in prison, and still chose to trust God even when every single thing in his life seemed to be falling apart. He did not spend his energy trying to convince everyone that he was innocent. He did not waste his words trying to prove his worth to people who had already decided he was guilty. He remained silent in places where words would have been useless, and God used that silence to position him for something far greater than vindication. You are not Joseph, but the God who was with him is with you, and the same principle applies. There are battles you are not meant to fight with words. There are accusations you are not meant to answer. There are rooms you are not meant to enter again, and your silence is the evidence that you are learning this truth. If you ignore this signal, if you break your silence every time someone pokes at you, if you keep engaging with traps that were designed to drain you, you will find yourself back in the same cycle. You will wake up tired. You will go to bed exhausted. You will spend your days defending yourself against people who never intended to understand you anyway. You will lose peace. You will lose clarity. You will lose the ability to hear God's voice underneath all the noise. But if you honor this silence, if you allow it to do its work, if you trust that God is using it to dismantle something in your life that needed to be dismantled, you will find yourself on the other side of something profound. You will find yourself lighter, clearer, freer, and you will wonder why you ever thought you needed to fight every battle with words. Chosen one, your silence is dismantling a trap, and you need to see this clearly. If what you are living resonates with you, type 888 in the comments as a simple confirmation that you recognize this season. Then return to the narration. This is not about numbers having power. This is about you acknowledging that you see what is happening. This is about you agreeing with the truth that your silence is not weakness, but wisdom. This is about you stepping into the recognition that God is doing something in you that noise would have interrupted. And once you have typed those numbers, once you have made that simple declaration, you can return to this message and allow the rest of it to settle into your spirit. The root of this is not just external, it is internal as well. For years, perhaps decades, you have believed that your worth was tied to your ability to explain yourself, to defend yourself, to make everyone understand you. You have believed that if you could just find the right words, the right explanation, the right argument, you could finally be seen, finally be valued, finally be at peace. But that belief is a lie. And God is dismantling it now, piece by piece, through this silence that you have been resisting. You are learning that your worth is not up for debate. You are learning that you do not need to prove anything to anyone. You are learning that peace is not something you earn through constant explanation, but something you receive through trust. This is painful, because it means letting go of something you have held on to for a very long time. But it is also liberating, because it means you are finally free. There is a difference between what your mind tells you and what your spirit knows. Your mind says you need to fix this. Your spirit says, let it go. Your mind says you need to explain yourself. Your spirit says you are known already. Your mind says you need to fight for your peace. Your spirit says your peace is a gift that cannot be taken away unless you give it away. This is the discernment that comes with silence. This is the clarity that comes when you stop trying to control everything with words. This is the recognition that God is bigger than your need to be understood by everyone. And this is where the 7 principles of C.S. Lewis for the chosen becomes more than just information. It becomes a practical companion for reflection, prayer, discernment, daily decisions, and identifying the next faithful step. To access the ebook, go now to the top of the comments and click the link in the pinned comment. This is why many readers return to these pages when they enter a new season. You do not have to walk through this alone. Your body knows what your mind is still trying to figure out. When you are in a room that is not safe for you, your chest tightens. When you are about to engage in a conversation that will drain you, your stomach turns. When you are being asked to give your peace away, your whole being resists. This is not anxiety. This is wisdom. This is your spirit recognizing what your mind has not yet accepted. And God is teaching you to listen to this wisdom. He is teaching you to honor the signals your body is sending you. He is teaching you that peace is not something you negotiate, but something you protect. And your silence is one of the most powerful tools you have for protecting it. The people around you may not understand. They may think you are being distant. They may think you are being prideful. They may think you are ignoring them. But here is what you need to remember. You are not responsible for their interpretation of your peace. You are responsible for your obedience to God. And if God is calling you to silence in certain areas of your life, then silence is what you will practice, regardless of what anyone else thinks. This does not mean you become cold or unloving. It does not mean you stop caring about people. It means you learn to love from a place of peace instead of a place of desperation. It means you learn to care without losing yourself. It means you learn to be present without being available for everything. And that is a form of love that is far more sustainable than the kind you have been practicing before. The opposition has a strategy. It uses noise to keep you distracted. It uses urgency to keep you reactive. It uses comparison to keep you insecure. It uses fear to keep you small. and it uses your own desire to be understood to keep you trapped in cycles of explanation and defense. But your silence disrupts all of that. Your silence says no to noise. Your silence says no to urgency. Your silence says no to comparison. Your silence says no to fear. Your silence says no to the lie that you need to be understood by everyone in order to be at peace. And every time you choose silence over reaction, you weaken the opposition's hold on your life. You dismantle another piece of the trap. You create another inch of space for God to work. Chosen one, this is the turning point. This is where you stop negotiating with the truth that your silence is not weakness, but wisdom. This is where you stop apologizing for protecting your peace. This is where you stop feeling guilty for not engaging with every single thing that demands your attention. This is where you begin to trust that God is fighting battles you cannot see, and that your silence is part of that fight. You are not passive. You are not lazy. You are not indifferent. You are faithful. You are obedient. You are trusting God to do what you could never do with words. And that is a form of strength that the world does not understand, but heaven honors. Imagine a seed buried in the ground. It is dark. It is quiet. It is still. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But underneath the surface, something profound is taking place. The seed is breaking open. It is sending roots deep into the soil. It is gathering strength. It is preparing to rise. Your silence is like that seed. From the outside, it may look like you are doing nothing. But underneath the surface, God is doing everything. He is breaking open old patterns. He is sending roots deep into truth. He is gathering strength in you. He is preparing you to rise. And when you do rise, it will not be because you fought harder or spoke louder or explained more. It will be because you allowed the silence to do its work. The formation is happening even though you cannot see it. Every moment you choose silence over reaction, you are being formed into someone who no longer needs to prove their worth. Every moment you choose peace over drama, you are being formed into someone who can be trusted with greater things. Every moment you choose trust over fear, you are being formed into someone who can walk through fire without being consumed. This is not wasted time. This is not empty silence. This is sacred formation. And God is using it to prepare you for something far greater than you can imagine right now. The opposition tried to keep you covered. It tried to keep you distracted. It tried to keep you so busy defending yourself that you never had time to actually become who God called you to be. But your silence has disrupted that plan. Your silence has created space for God to work. Your silence has allowed the formation to happen. And now something is beginning to move. You can feel it. You can sense it. You can almost see it. The seed is breaking through the soil. The roots are strong. The stem is rising. The light is calling. And soon you will rise with it. Not because you fought harder, not because you spoke louder, but because you allowed the silence to do its work. Chosen one, your silence is dismantling a trap, and you need to see this clearly. If what you are living resonates with you, type "I am ready" in the comments as a simple declaration that you are prepared for what God is doing in you. Then return to the narration. This is not about the words having power. This is about you acknowledging that you are ready. This is about you agreeing with the truth that God is forming you through this silence. This is about you stepping into the recognition that you are not being punished, but prepared. And once you have typed those words, once you have made that simple declaration, you can return to this message and allow the rest of it to settle into your spirit. This is not performance. This is return. You are not trying to become someone new. You are returning to who you were always meant to be. You are returning to the peace that was never meant to be negotiated away. You are returning to the trust that was never meant to be shaken by other people's opinions. You are returning to the silence that was never meant to be filled with noise. And this return is not something you achieve through effort. It is something you receive through surrender. It's something you allow instead of something you force. It is something you rest in instead of something you fight for. And that is the most liberating truth you will ever learn. Here is one practice you can begin today. When you wake up in the morning, before you pick up your phone, before you check your messages, before you engage with the world, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Just breathe, just be. Just allow yourself to exist without having to perform or explain or defend anything. Let your heart settle. Let your spirit speak. Let God remind you that you are known, you are loved, you are held. And then, when you do pick up your phone, when you do engage with the world, do it from that place of peace instead of from that place of desperation. This simple practice will change everything. Here is another practice. When you feel the pressure to explain yourself, to defend yourself, to justify yourself, pause. Take one deep breath. Ask yourself this question: will speaking right now protect my peace, or will it give my peace away? If the answer is that it will give your peace away, then do not speak. Let the silence do its work. Let God fight the battle. Let the trap fall apart on its own. And if the answer is that speaking will protect your peace, then speak with clarity and love, but without desperation. This simple pause will save you from countless moments of regret. There is mercy in the limits you are setting. There is mercy in the doors you are closing. There is mercy in the conversations you are no longer having. There is mercy in the notifications you are no longer answering immediately. There is mercy in the rooms you are no longer entering. And there is mercy in the silence you are finally allowing yourself to keep. God is not punishing you. He is protecting you. He is creating space for you to breathe, to heal, to become. And that is an act of love, not an act of abandonment. Honor it, receive it, rest in it. There is a decision you need to make. It is simple but profound. You can continue to engage with every single thing that demands your attention, or you can begin to steward your peace like the sacred gift that it is. You can continue to fight every battle with words, or you can begin to trust that some battles are meant to be fought in silence. You can continue to try to be understood by everyone, or you can begin to rest in the truth that you are already known by God. This decision will shape everything that comes next. Choose wisely. Choose peace. Choose trust. Choose silence when silence is the faithful response. Chosen one, if this message has spoken to your spirit, if it has resonated with something deep inside you, let your like on this message be your silent amen. This is not about numbers or metrics. This is about you acknowledging that you have received something sacred here. This is about you saying yes to the truth, that your silence is not weakness but wisdom. This is about you agreeing with God that He is doing something in you that noise would have interrupted. And once you have done that, once you have made that simple declaration, you can continue resting in the peace that this message has awakened in you. There is someone who came to your mind while you were listening to this. You know who they are. They are someone who is also walking through a season of silence, a season of waiting, a season of formation. They are someone who needs to hear this truth. They are someone who needs to know that their silence is not abandonment, but protection. Share this message with them. Not because you are trying to fix them, but because you care about them. Not because you are trying to change them, but because you love them. This is not about you being their savior. This is about you being a vessel for the peace that God has given you. And that is a form of love that changes everything. Chosen one, your silence is dismantling a trap, and you need to see this clearly. If what you are living resonates with you, type "I am chosen" in the comments as a simple declaration that you recognize who you are in God, then return to the narration. This is not about the words having power. This is about you acknowledging that you are known. This is about you agreeing with the truth that you are not defined by other people's opinions of you. This is about you stepping into the recognition that you are chosen, not for superiority, but for service, not for pride, but for purpose. And once you have typed those words, once you have made that simple declaration, you can return to this message and allow the final words to settle into your spirit. You have walked through so much to get here. You have endured so much. You have survived so much. And now you are finally beginning to understand that your silence was never emptiness, but formation. Your silence was never abandonment, but protection. Your silence was never weakness, but wisdom, and this understanding is changing everything. You are no longer chasing validation. You are no longer fighting every battle with words. You are no longer giving your peace away to people who never valued it in the first place. You are resting. You are trusting. You are allowing God to do what you could never do with words, and that is the most faithful thing you can do right now. Chosen one, may peace settle into your bones like morning light. May clarity steady your steps like a firm path. May courage return to your heart like a quiet tide. May your silence remain sacred, not as a wall, but as a sanctuary. May you recognize the battles that are yours to fight and the ones that belong to God. May you steward your peace like the gift that it is. May you walk through this season with faith, with clarity, with direction. And may you know deep in your spirit that you are not alone. There are others across the world receiving this same quiet recognition right now. There are others learning to trust their silence. There are others allowing God to dismantle traps through stillness. And together, you are becoming a people who no longer need to prove their worth, but can simply rest in the truth that they are already known. It is sealed.